and it's the one I dropped a massive bollock on. Hi, welcome back to Chop's Garage, and I've done it again. I've bought what I consider the riskiest used cars that money can buy. Yes, it is of course the Mini. Those of you that follow Chop's Garage regularly will know my thoughts on these Minis. If you don't follow regularly, then I'll update you on why I view these as the riskiest used cars money can buy. They are absolute money pits, and that's the reason. One of the reasons for that is the engineering, the way they put them together, and I'll go through that in a minute, explain why. But it doesn't matter whether you get the petrol or whether you get the diesel. They're both risky cars. The main things being timing, it's engine issues. It's really all about the engine issues. There are various different issues with Mini engines. Both the petrol and the diesel do timing chains. So most cars have a lot of cars have a rubber cam belt that keeps the timing in the engine correct. On these, they are chain on the diesel and on the petrol. Those chains are kept tight by a couple of plastic guides within the engine. And on the BMWs, on the Minis, they have, because obviously Mini is BMW, they use the same engines, they have a habit of breaking these plastic guides. That allows the timing chain to slap about, that allows the engine to go out of time and munch itself. On the petrols, because they are direct injection, coke builds up around the back of the valves and it gives them really rough running on the idling. They have these overcomplicated pumps on the petrol ones, water pumps that are both manual and electronic at the same time or something. They fail and make a hell of a racket. There's various other bits and bobs on the engine that can go wrong, and the trouble with the Minis is that in order to get any of the work done, you have to basically pull the entire front end of the car off, which again, every time I put videos out on these, if you get into the comments, you'll see a list of people down there saying they've had them and they've been absolute money pits. So as second-hand cars go, they are very risky, and as a dealer who trades in stuff over 10 years old and most of the time over sort of 70,000 miles, they become even riskier again, because you have to stand by them. You drive them off, buy them off somebody's driveway, and you go up the road and have a problem, you're on your own. You buy from a dealer, then he's got to sort out the problems, and just one or two of those problems, well, one of those problems is enough to completely wipe out any profit you might make on a car. Even just simple things like clutches on these, it's the whole front end of the car off to get the clutch on, and costs double or triple what it would do on any other vehicle. The problem with them is, though, is people absolutely love them. They love the looks of them. I mean, there's no doubting they handle like go-karts. They drive fantastic. So you get in one and you drive one and you're going to love it and you're going to buy it. And unless you go into it knowing that these are the issues, then you're going to get it. You're going to, once you've had a drive of it, you're going to buy it. So at this point you might be saying, well, if you think so badly of them, why on earth do you buy them? Well, the reality is in this trade is that there isn't a manufacturer out there that doesn't have issues. I mean, I've got a Freelander over there. Everybody knows Freelanders can be riddled with issues. I've got a Jimny there, we know they can rot underneath. We've got the Dacia Duster with the 1.5 diesel in it, that can have problems. We've got the BMW over there with the same engine as this, the timing chain driven 118 diesel. This is actually the Cooper S diesel I have here. We'll cover a bit more of that in a moment, but there isn't a manufacturer here that doesn't have issues. It's just on the Mini, it comes with a multitude of issues and they're harder to fix. So it's just more of a gamble than it is on the other cars. So you have to make sure you buy them right. Now this one I've actually bought off of one of my YouTube subscribers. So again, massive thanks to all of you that have been sending me details of the cars you want to sell, helping support the business. The reason this one was worth buying was because it already broken. Now, there might be some strange logic to that, but if it's already broken, you know what work you need to do and you can factor the cost into it and then work out where your margins are going to be. You're also then able to sell a car with all of the known faults resolved on it. So this is the Cooper S, but it is the diesel. So you get the Cooper S with the 1.6 turbocharged petrol engine in it, or you can get it with the 2-litre diesel in it, as I said, that's in the 1 series and in the 3 series. This one is a Cooper S, but somebody opted to have the John Cooper Works package put on it, so you could get the Cooper S. I don't think they ever did a full-blown John Cooper Works with a different engine map on it or anything like that, or different suspension. You'll have to tell me in the comments if that's right or not, but I believe you get the John Cooper Works package with it as just a sort of add-on bits and bobs. So I think the side skirts might possibly be different. I don't know if the wheels are different. and you've got the badging, but when you open up, you've got different lights on the back. When you open up the door, you've got John Cooper Works on the sills, and you've got John Cooper Works on the steering wheel. So it has that as an accessory package on it. It's a really nice looking little car. Obviously it's filthy at the moment, and again I'll explain why I haven't cleaned it before I started doing the video. So it's done 95,000 miles, and the story is that our subscriber's son had the vehicle, had a fresh MOT put on it, drove the car home, and he started to get the dreaded timing chain rattle. That is where, like I say, the plastic guides break, they allow the timing chain to be loose, and it slaps about. Now it will slap about for a while, but eventually what it will do is it will jump teeth, and it will then actually allow the pistons and the valves to meet within inside the engine and munch the engine completely, requiring to have a new engine. So as soon as you hear that noise, you need to be stopping. You need to stop driving the car until it's resolved. I mean, I think Royston's in the comments, he had one of these absolutely lunch itself, just sitting at idle outside his workplace. It wasn't even driving it, it was just sitting at idle. So we are not driving this car about at all. I've had it transported here and unloaded. So after having the MOT done, he just didn't have the funds to continue with the work and get the timing chain done. And his dad watches the channel and said, James, would you like to buy it? So we did a deal based on me knowing that I need to do the timing chain on the car. Now, I have had timing chains done on the BMW engine before, so I have a rough idea what the cost is going to be. So I have, again, it's a bit of a gamble depending on what else might need to be done along the way. I have no doubt when it is done and this is all washed and polished up, it'll be an attractive little car to someone, because it's 0 to 60 is not far off the same as the petrol. It's 8 seconds to 8.1 seconds to 60 to 134 mile an hour. But the difference is it's got more torque. It's got 250 foot-pound of torque or something like that, down at just 1700 RPM. So it really will pull. But obviously you get great MPG. You'll be getting, you know, 50 MPG, 60 on a run, and I think they're only £30 road tax as well, so you get all the looks and performance, but with none of the high road tax and high fuel consumption that the turbocharged Cooper S petrols give. I think the best I've seen getting out one of those is about 30 miles to the gallon. So it could be your daily commuter to work, but it wouldn't have the high running costs. And obviously with this package on as well, it's a really nice looking car, as I said. You can actually take these down to Celtic Tuning, who are the people that specialise in diesel tuning, and I think you can give them 200 brake horsepower just with the map change, and I think the foot-pound of torque goes up to just under 300, which obviously that would be a seriously quick car. Condition-wise, obviously hard to tell with the mud on it, but the bodywork itself looks all good. It doesn't look like we're going to be doing any bodywork, maybe a bit of touching up of the alloys. It's got the nice leather inside, which is a good condition. It's got a parts service history, which you could say might be the reason the timing chain has gone. It's not got a full service history, but I don't really know whether the changing of oil affects the plastics or not on those timing chain guides. I've seen them break on cars with full service history, so buying one with absolutely full service history in my mind is not a protection against it happening. You need to be buying one where you know the work's been done on it. If it's over like sort of 50,000 miles, you need to be buying one where you know the work that we're about to do on it has been done. So anyway, we're going to get the transporter here. We're going to get it down to the guys at Moores to do the work, and I'm going to pop down and show you why these are such a ball ache to work on. Hopefully show you what the damage is inside, and fingers crossed we don't end up with any unexpected, famous last words. And when it's back together, we'll take it for a little spin and see what we think compared to the petrol one. So I'm down at Moores with the Mini. If you remember, this is the Mini Cooper S with the diesel engine, and it's the one I dropped a massive bollock on, because I was sold it based on the timing chain being tensions being broken, which I was sold it absolutely correctly, but I priced it up in my head based on what it was to do a petrol timing chain on one of these Minis. But because it's got the BMW 2-litre diesel in and the timing chain is behind the gearbox, the engines had to come out completely. So Trev down at Moores is absolutely loving me at the moment. He's just showing me that the tensioner was broken. This is what breaks on your engine. This is what you have to get all this out for, is this tiny plastic guide. Other parts of it around here somewhere. I think the other bit of it's there. That is the reason you have to take these engines apart. It's simply down to the plastic breaking. So all of that has to come out just for that one thing. And because the engine, as I said, because this timing chain is behind the gearbox, the whole engine has to come out of the Mini to do it, which is why we hate Minis. It's why we absolutely loathe Minis. So it is going to cost me way more than I'd factored in, and I think it'll end up being a charity job on this in terms of it'll be sold for what it owes me for. I don't think there's any easy profit to be made out of it. Obviously, we can't just replace the plastic guide. The chain needs to be replaced at the same time. So Trev's got all the timing gear locked in there to lock the engine. Obviously, we'll have to do oil and filters. The other bad news is, when it came apart, obviously you'd ideally do a clutch at the same time as doing this, but you wouldn't want to necessarily replace the flywheel unless it was bad. But unfortunately, the flywheel's bad as well. On this dual mass flywheel, is dual mass in it, Trev? Yeah, dual mass flywheel's bad on it. The clutch itself has got plenty of meat left in it, but obviously we're not going to put the old clutch back in. But we have to do the dual mass flywheel. That alone is £340, I think, for that alone. There's an example of a guide all in one. But it's a smaller guide that broke. So yes, that alone is £340 odd. Obviously we'll put a new tensioner on it. Oh, is a new tensioner chain in it, Trev? Is that the old one, is it?
No,
or is
that?
What's that there?
That's the chain, that's the tensioner.
That's the tensioner for the chain, which can also go as well. So yeah, we'll have to do the whole lot. So you can imagine labour-wise, we're in for some big cash, but we'll touch base when it's all back together and look at what the bill comes out. You better drive like a superstar after that, because if we have to then go and do any suspension, anything else on it, then we're into the big bucks. Obviously, we've got to hope all the injectors are okay as well at this point. So if you're having this job done for yourself and you're going to keep the car, you may as well just get absolutely everything done at once. Update on the Saab: the hunt for parts to replace those that have failed due to its sitting continues. I've had to track down original fan for the radiator, so we've got a new radiator in it, but I've had to track down a fan for it because the fan's packed up on it. So it is just tracing stuff all the way back on this, trying to find, oh, I've got cover there, trying to find what's failed. So the whole cooling systems had to be completely refreshed, all cleared out, new radiator, new like I say, new fan, new switch for the fan, all kinds of stuff like that. So yeah, still on the burn in the background quietly, and the X-Trail's down to have the cheap air mass meter, airflow meter resistor or whatever replaced that I put in it. It didn't work at all. It actually left the code on it continuously, so I've had to pay the full price for a Nissan 130 quid job one. There's a lady who wants to come and see it straight away, so I need to get that in there and get it MOT because she wants to take it away same day as well. So hopefully the proper genuine Nissan one sorts that out. So we've had a call from Moores, and Mini is ready, so I need to pop something down instead and bring it back here, go for a little test drive in it, let you know how it is, and see obviously what the bill is. So let's go see how the Mini drives. We obviously want to give it a really good shakedown now that the work's been done, to be sure that we haven't got any little issues left over. The guys at Moores have done their shakedown runs, but obviously I'm going to take it for a bit further than them to double check everything, make sure there's no leaks, anything like that, because they've put an awful lot back together again. Firstly, obviously there's no timing chain rattle at all on startup. Punch wise, yeah, plenty of punch, no shortage there. Feels tight as a drum. I mean, I know I've not driven it very far, but obviously there was always the danger of getting all that work done, and we then found out actually it still needs suspension work, it still needs, you know, the gearbox is going to be bad for all we know because we never drove it. I'm up into 5th already, I think it is, and I've got bags of torque still available to me. Oh, it's got the traditional hard ride that comes with these Minis. Don't buy one of these if you've had a back operation. They really do ride hard. In fact, the first time I got one, I thought it was riding so hard, I got the guys to check it out because I thought there might be a suspension problem. But now, having had, you know, probably 4 or 5 of them, I know that that's just the way they are. So you definitely want to avoid the potholes. Right, full pull. No No point giving it too many revs because the diesel, all its power is low down. Let me look in there. It's a quick car. It's a quick car. And as I said, the handling is absolutely tight as a drum, super direct. It certainly feels like they've bolted everything back together correctly. Yeah, it's just as quick as the turbocharged petrol one. Now the other thing I'd note on these as well is, having driven a lot of them, is the first one I got I thought needed a clutch as well. Now obviously we put a brand new clutch and dual mass flywheel in these, but you will find that they're quite bitey clutches, even brand new, even with 50,000 miles on. When you pull away from a standstill, they're quite aggressive in these, and it's nothing that's wrong with the car. If you try a few of them out, you'll just find they're a bit bitey. As soon as you're up and running, you're fine. I'm talking specifically about when you come to a junction at a full stop, you need to balance the clutch out on these because they're quite aggressive. They're, you know, they're uprated presumably for the power. So yeah, this is driving it so nicely. With these, it doesn't matter how fast you go through a corner, you always think I could have gone faster because they're so planted. So the Mini drives nicely, it's all good. It seems to be put back together well by Moores. Nothing on that front. It looks like we don't really need to get any other work done other than that. Suspension's all good, brakes are all good, all that kind of stuff, so that seems positive. So hopefully we aren't going to throw any more cash into it. It's interesting, I just parked it up and chap next door is working on my neighbour's Cobra that's having problems with it, who's a mechanic. Said he had one of these with the Prince engine, and he said even him doing the work on it, because inevitably his engine went bad and his was only 50,000 miles on the petrol one, even with him doing all the work himself, it cost him £1,000 to do the repairs and he wouldn't have another one. And he was, we were having a laugh together about how hard these do ride. He said that, you know, the handling's brilliant, but the sacrifice is that you've got literally no give in the suspension at all on them. But anyway, I know what you guys want to know is how much does it cost me, so let's have a look at the bill from Moores. So here it is: timing chain fault, remove engine and strip down as required, renew timing chains and tensioners. Also found out that the flywheel and the clutch were worn, so they had to be renewed at the same time. So obviously you could go in and just do the timing chain, but while you've got the engine out and you've got the gearbox off, it makes sense to do the flywheel and the clutch. But the reason people don't do it is, why you'll see in a minute, is it's not cheap. Rebuild engine using the new parts as listed, and refit the engine. I know they did the oil and filters as well. So we've got the chain kit 165, oil filter £8, antifreeze 7, gaskets £24, sump seal £1. I don't know what that kit is. Oh, clutch and flywheel kit 373. Now bear in mind your prices would all be probably about 50% more on all of these products here. They do me a good rate on the parts, only charge me really trade price on the parts. And they do some pipes, some other seal kits, some bolt kits, slave cylinder, clutch fluid, all that kind of stuff. And yeah, so they did oil and filters. I don't think they charged me for the oil. Make that way down here somewhere. Total bill is £1,113.64. Now I can claim £268 in VAT, so realistically it's cost me £1,300 net. Now bearing in mind, I had just a timing chain done on one of these engines in the BMW 1 Series, and that was, I think it was £800. That's a pretty good price, £800 plus VAT. That's a pretty good price for having the clutch and flywheel done as well. But you can see why, well, we'll discuss this in a second. What I was going to say is, you can see why when I put this car through Auto Trader now, it will come up with an average for this vehicle based on the mileage and the age and the spec. It'll come up with an average price across the UK that I should be listing this car for. But as you can see from that bill, you'd have to be clinically insane not to buy this Mini over any of the other ones out there that haven't had that work done on them. If they haven't had the clutch and the flywheel done, if they haven't had the timing chain done, if they're say over, well, I'd say even over 30 or 40,000 miles. But Auto Trader doesn't allow for putting that kind of, I can put it in the information in the text, but I think my car should be more expensive than the average across the UK for the fact that that work's been done. I would intend to advertise this for £500 more than Auto Trader said, because I'm giving for £500 extra, you've got something that would probably cost you £2 grand or more retail done on the car. You buy one for £500 less and then get this, you know, it hasn't had this work done, then you're potentially in a whole world of hurt. But there's no real way to communicate that on Auto Trader. So mine will show high price. Will people even click in to look at it? I don't know. I think only really somebody who's seen this video is going to be able to get to appreciate the difference. Obviously, we'll do a full walk around video explaining the work we've done on it and the money we've put into it. But I'd suspect that in reality, I'm only probably going to get what the average retail price is. Now, all that is out the window because this is actually sold already. It is sold to Big Mike down at Moore's Garage. So Mike saw this go through the workshop at Moore's. He works down there. He's a bit of a mechanic, does a bit of valeting down there as well. He's got his own customer base for doing servicing and so forth. So it will actually be a trade-to-trade sale. He saw this go through the workshop. He saw all the work done on it. He had one of these Cooper S's with the petrol engine in. But the reason he got shot of it was purely because he only used it now and then. And the cost of the road tax and the fuel was too high to justify it. So when he saw this going through the workshop, with everything we discussed earlier about the fact that you're going to get the cheap road tax and you're going to get the high MPG, and he saw obviously that we were getting such comprehensive stuff done and all the risky stuff was getting done, it was a no-brainer for him to buy it. And of course he's probably in the best position to own it because there isn't any problem with any of the work that's been done. He's working at the place that did the work, so he's going to get it rectified. So super quick turnaround, and it's just come back, like I say, as soon as it came back here, he started to ask me about buying it. We've done a deal on it and it is going out of the door. Now, what's not risky, of course, is if you get a car like this Vauxhall Adam for just £2. Yet we've still got the raffle going on this Vauxhall Adam 2016, 60,000 miles. Got a brand new advisory free MOT on it. It's freshly serviced. Tickets for the raffle are just £2 each. And a portion of the proceeds from this raffle do go to Little Willow's Wish, which is a charity that supports families with children in hospital. The link to this raffle is in the video description down below. There is an alternative prize. If you win and you're not really that bothered about the car, you just want to support the charity and the raffle, then we'll give you £1,000 cash. We'll give you a bundle load of top-on diagnostics equipment and jump packs, diagnostic equipment and jump packs, and then we will sell the car off and give the proceeds of the sale to the charity as well, minus the £1,000 you had. So again, link is in the video description down below.